Teeny has proven that he's the best controller player in the world in 2026, as him and Shark have been destroying EU, winning both EWC qualifiers and winning the Week 2 Div Cup. But not only can he do it on EU, he can also do it on NA Central on over 100 ping, as he dropped a 30 bomb in the Solo Victory Cup qualifiers. But how is he able to do this on such high ping? To start this 30 bomb, Teeny lands at Wonky Land, where he gets a free kill off spawn here since the opponent didn't find a shotgun. But for his second kill of the game, we start to see some tech that he has for high ping. Teeny launches upward on the Ferris wheel and notices some fresh builds on the beach. He dives down here, but doesn't exactly know where the opponent is. To counter this, he starts placing stairs on all of the rocks on the beach that the opponent could possibly be hiding behind, as this instantly breaks them, allowing him to get the jump in the fight. He manages to find the correct rock and does this to the opponent, who is forced to box up. Teeny drops down here and places a wall and makes a peanut butter edit and instantly shoots here. He doesn't look to pickaxe or take the wall since it's difficult to take walls on over 100 ping, so he just shoots. Crouches to dodge any counterfire, shoots it once with his AR and crouches again, and shoots the wall again with his shotgun to break it to cover for a pre-fire while trying to snag the wall. Notice also here how Teeny is hugging the wall here, as this makes it the hardest for the opponent to find a good angle on him. The opponent goes out the top and tags Teeny twice after he makes a bad edit, so Teeny fakes a box up and counterfires the opponent when he starts spraying Teeny's front wall, expecting him to be there. Teeny throws a med grenade down here, allowing him to go up while healing, and the opponent is starting to get aggressive, which Teeny is aware of. Teeny then uses an extremely important fundamental of high ping fighting of letting the opponent create an angle for you. Teeny has 160 HP here, so he can make an aggressive play, but he plays reactively, where he opens up and reacts to the opponent's fizz jumping toward him with a really nice pump shot to close out the fight. On high ping, it's really difficult to fully edit course your opponent and create strong peaks yourself, so using your movement and your opponent's movement against them to create an angle is a really good way to find some damage. For the third kill, he sprays the opponent and chases him down the zipline, where he runs up to the wall and pickaxes it once. Notice how he is standing exactly where the opponent would try and peanut butter edit here, as he knows that any trade is in his favor. The opponent tries to make a different edit to counterplay this, but Teeny still has an angle, and is able to spray through the stair to finish the fight. For kill 4, the opponent goes to third party this fight, assuming Teeny was weak from the previous engagement, where Teeny surprises him by 50-50ing him with his gun out, allowing him to easily clean up the kill. In the fifth fight, Teeny wingsuits in and starts spraying from the tight angle I was talking about before. The opponent doesn't really have an angle here, while Teeny is able to pressure in a way that doesn't require good ping. Teeny mantles up to follow the opponent, and takes the floor and cone to try and guess the opponent will expand in the opposite direction of where Teeny is coming from. He again tries to do this, and the opponent relocates to a different box. Teeny follows him and just sprays him with his AR, which I think a lot of players forget is an option here, as a lot of players will hyper-focus on using their pickaxes, but this is a strong alternative for high ping. Because the opponent is moving and editing, he is able to bleed a bullet through here. Teeny mantles on top of the box, which baits the opponent to leave the box since he's not pressuring that wall anymore, and Teeny drops back down immediately. One hits the wall to try and phase in, and is able to finish the fight quickly since the opponent was panicking from the third party. The next opponent approaches, and notice again how Teeny looks to hold this tight angle until he realizes that the opponent isn't immediately pressuring him. He heals back to full and gets tagged as the opponent used the fizz to surprise him, and boxes up to heal again. Teeny trades with the opponent here, as he intends to outdamage the opponent with good crosshair placement, but the opponent still hits him hard. He shoots the opponent's wall to take it back, and looks for a window reset play here to finish the fight, but doesn't get it. The opponent pressures him and forces him into another box, where the opponent goes for a wall when Teeny is healing and takes it. Although it would have been safer to rebox here since it's really difficult to hold walls on over 100 ping, Teeny makes a really smart play on the fly. If you were the opponent with this edited cone here and the health advantage, you are more likely to make a peanut butter edit here. Teeny knows this and swings hard to the right, predicting the edit perfectly, where he's able to dodge the opponent's shot due to the angle here. The opponent reset the wall, and Teeny immediately sees a way out of this situation, where he sprays through the weak wall and runs under the cone and floor, as these act as separation from the opponent here. Teeny is able to escape and rebox, and looks to heal here. The opponent is able to take his wall first try though, and breaks the stair here. Teeny is aware the terrain here is kind of awkward, so he uses his movement with the tree to go for a quick peek shot before editing out the side and sprinting towards his old builds. This is too risky of a push for the opponent here with all of these old builds, creating a lot of potential angles for Teeny, so he's able to get back to full HP with his Chug Jug here. He gets tagged and goes for a lurk play, but an important note here is that he does build and edit quite a few pieces here while crouching, but these do not give visual audio, so as long as you are crouched, you can't be found with visuals if you're building and editing. The opponent does notice him here though, where he gets pumped, and makes the really quick reaction to spin around, place a wall, and place a stair above him to block his back, which is better than just building a stair, as that can be easily sprayed and is difficult to hold while standing on it. Teeny then uses a classic trick that a lot of players have forgot about, where he touches the wall and flips the ramp where he is phasing through the stair, allowing him to fake out the opponent and finish the fight. Teeny uses clever movement throughout the fight to prolong his life, and plays patiently, allowing him to take HP advantages to close it out. In the 7th fight, Teeny again uses his movement to create a strong angle against the opponent, using the opponent's movement against him. To start this fight, he hears the opponent inside of the building. He has the fizz effect active, and knows the only place the opponent could reveal himself suddenly is out of the front door here. And since that's where the visual audio is coming from, and the top floor has a door on the other side of the building, meaning that he'd be able to react to the opponent coming out of that, he jumps past the door, keeping his crosshair trained on it and ADSing. He knows that the only way the opponent could see him is if he runs out the door, which Teeny uses against him, since the opponent doesn't have the visual audio that he has jumped to the other side of the building, as fizz jumps don't give audio. The opponent blocks off where Teeny's previous visual audio was, and Teeny is ready for the opponent to come out, where he hits him for 150. Teeny simply ends the fight by spraying in with his AR, which is a strong way to pressure on high ping, as it requires less precision to do while still being a fairly safe option. For the 8th and 9th kills, he sprays wingsuiters out of the air, which you may think, oh, that's not impressive, or oh, I can do that, but let me ask you, why don't you get more kills like this then? The reason Teeny is often able to set up these wingsuit kills is due to his incredibly intelligent positioning. Ahead of the 9th kill, he lurks up on the opponent's wall here to try and get the jump on him. Teeny gets noticed, so instead of looking to fight on the backside of zone here, he instantly builds a wingsuit chamber to go to zone, as the storm is right on his tail. Because he moved right away and beat the opponent to zone, the opponent is forced to wingsuit after Teeny had already set up, allowing him to get this free beam for a kill. Here's another instance of Teeny getting free kills on rotating players with his really smart positioning. The zone pulls fairly close to him here, and instead of looking to wait to wingsuit until other players do and the storm gets close to you, he wingsuits immediately to the edge of zone, right when the zone reveals itself, setting up to spray wingsuiters. In the 10th fight, he tags his player out of the air for over 100 and goes to push him. He notices the opponent is in a 1x1, so when Teeny pushes, instead of trying to do box-to-box pressure, which is difficult on high ping, he makes the read that the opponent is going to want to make his 1x1 a 2x1, and goes for doubles on the opposite side of his approach to finish the fight. This strong position again allows Teeny to get multiple kills spraying, as he gets his 11th, 12th, and 13th on wingsuiters trying to make it to zone, where he is already set up waiting for them. On the next rotate, Teeny is further towards the center than a lot of players, and he notices the opponent set up a wingsuit chamber in wood on the back of zone, allowing him to spray through the wood for an easy kill. This is an important tip for the last solo victory cup of the season, where you need to make sure that you build your wingsuit chamber out of hard mats if you can, or this can happen to you. I don't even know what the opponent for kill 15 was doing, but it's more free points, I guess. Teeny wingsuits in again to zone here, but he goes toward the side of zone on the hill. This allows him to have good sight lines on the lobby, and also sets up for a chance to play height if he pulls here. He does pull zone, and starts spraying out the player above him to look for height. This causes the opponent to drop down and try and reconnect, and instead of getting tunnel vision on breaking everything out and chopping the opponent, he knows this is a perfect time to just take height himself from the opponent. He makes sure also to spray the opponent who was on height previously to make sure he doesn't try and take it back from Teeny here. Teeny now has height, and he gets his 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th kills by staying on the backside of zone on his height tarp and spraying wingsuiters. It's really difficult to take height from him here since he's on the back of zone and has full visibility on the lobby, and his tarp is so small enough where he can protect the whole thing pretty easily and not worry about people chopping it or landing on it. It's not always very exciting, but aim and movement are the two aspects of the game the controller excels at, which are the two aspects of the game that really aren't nerfed that heavily from having high ping. Teeny happens to have incredible aim and really strong movement, which is what allows him to drop bombs on this ping. During the 9th zone, Teeny notices that he's running a little low on mats and wants to reposition on the front of zone. He uses a whole fizz grenade to drop down to some loot that he notices. Even though he didn't need the shield, he still has a ton of heals and is essentially able to trade this grenade for a bunch of mats, so it ends up being really good value for him. He takes height again since nobody noticed that he left height for those brief seconds there, and gets his 21st and 22nd kills by spraying looking down from height. For the 23rd kill, I have written down in my notes, genius. So that describes this kill, I guess. He drops down to get the mats after this and builds back up, but notices visual audio behind him, so he places a fizz down to heal and to conceal his location, where he's able to spray the player camping in zone, who's likely looking to take height from him here. For his 25th kill, he again uses the fizz momentum to confuse the opponent, where he tags him and then flies to the other side of the opponent, giving him no visual audio to finish him off with a pump. Teeny continues to spray from height here, and drops down using his last fizz grenade, where he notices an opponent who is out of mats on the backside of zone for a free kill. He almost takes out this player, but tunnel vision's on him a little bit, allowing someone to take height from him. He drops down and blocks above him with a backstair before finishing the kill. Teeny then looks up at Height, and despite the fact that Height had a pretty big tarp, he notices he's only connected by a single wood build, and sprays out the connection to easily laser the opponent as he's falling. He drops down to look for a kill here, but gets hit hard, so quickly goes to heal and play the ending more patiently. The opponent on Height is really weak, and Teeny just holds this angle here to jump peek him and take him out. Teeny is now on Height for the final 1v1, and gets tagged, but knows the opponent has to come toward him due to zone. So he pre-fires the opponent's floor and builds a wall and elevates, before easily pumping the opponent when he tries to mantle up to win the game. If you are interested in how to win stacked solo games on High Ping, click the video about how Kurama won solo tournaments on NAC from EU.